Senator Bragg.
Thanks very much, President. My question is again to the Minister for Finance, Senator Gallagher. Minister, what is the current rate of mortgage stress in Australia?
Good question.
Thank you, Senator Bragg. Minister Gallagher.
Thank you, and I thank Senator Bragg for the question. We know that Australians are doing it tough, and particularly those with mortgages. I don't think it's any surprise that would be the case after the interest rates increases that we've seen over the past, which actually started under you, which is conveniently forgotten every time this is raised by you. But that has had an impact. We take responsibility for the decisions the government makes, and we are doing that, which is why we are providing tax cuts, energy bill relief, cheaper medicines, investments to reduce student loans, our support for wage increases that those opposite consistently and repeatedly opposed, in order to make sure that households are given as much support as the government can provide them during this time, because we recognise that households are under pressure and that particularly those with mortgages, large mortgages, are feeling the impact of those. Feeling the impact of those interest rate increases. We acknowledge that, which is why our cost of living measures, most of which you have opposed, have been calibrated and targeted to support those households as they are experiencing these tough times. So we are obviously making sure we can do everything we can in a time of higher inflation that we would like. So our decisions have to be—
Minister Gallagher, please resume your seat. Senator Birmingham.
Point of order on direct relevance. Senator Bragg's question was very precise about the rate of mortgage stress in Australia. Senator Gallagher has come nowhere close to addressing the precise question. If she's unable to answer it, then this is the type of question the minister should acknowledge and take on notice.
Thank you, Senator Birmingham. There were also interjections, but I will draw the minister back to that part of the question. Minister Gallagher.
Thank you. Well, I am being directly relevant. I'm acknowledging that there are many households across Australia that are experiencing stress, and particularly linked to their mortgages. I've already said that, and thanks for the patronising instruction from Senator Birmingham. But I have acknowledged—
Minister Gallagher, I need you to withdraw that comment. Withdraw the comment.
I didn't realise patronising was unparliamentary, but I withdraw. No, I genuinely didn't. I'm sure I've heard it being yelled at.
Senator Gallagher, it was a direct— Order. 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 Yeah, if you take your seat, Minister Gallagher, that was a personal reflection on Senator Birmingham. So, as a personal reflection, you have withdrawn that. Senator Hume, I believe you then interjected with a personal reflection, which I will ask you to withdraw.
I withdraw.
Thank you, Senator Hume. Minister, please continue.
Use this time to just remind people, if they are experiencing mortgage stress, they can engage with their lender and should engage with their lender where arrangements can be made.
Thank you, Minister. The time for answering has expired. Senator Bragg, first supplementary.
Thanks, President. I'm not sure we got the answer to what was the rate of mortgage stress, but we'll try something else. So, the comparison website Finder found recently that 13% of mortgage holders had extended their home loan in the last 12 months. So, Minister, what guarantees can you give Australians who are already struggling to pay their mortgages and are also extending their mortgages that they won't face a 13th mortgage rate increase under Labor?
Thank you, Senator Bragg. Minister Gallagher.
Thank you. Well, the government has taken decisions to support households, to work hand in hand with the Reserve Bank, as they have been undertaking their tightening of their monetary policy, and our decisions are supportive of that work. That is why we are able, within the room, we've found in the budget, targeted, calibrated cost of living support to help households. We acknowledge that people are doing it tough. That is clear. and the government has a serious responsibility to do what it can to put downward pressure on inflation where our decisions impact, and make sure that the decisions we take support households, which is exactly why we revised the tax arrangements. Because if we had not revised them, if we had not changed them, changes that those opposite wanted to call an election over originally, millions of workers would have missed out on a tax cut on the 1st of July. So
Thank you, Minister. The time for answering has expired. Senator Bragg, second supplementary.
Minister, you've just cited those income tax changes, but how much does the average mortgage holder have left from those changes after they've paid the costs of rampant inflation, high mortgage rates and sky-high energy bills, let alone the prospect of further rate rises? How much worse off are Australians going to be under Labor's so-called relief?
Thank you, Senator Bragg. Minister Gallagher.
Thank you. Well, they'll be better off than they would have been under you, Senator Bragg, because you're— well, that is the answer. And you have opposed our other sensible cost of living measures. Let us not forget that when it came time to vote, you all voted against the energy rebates. Just remember that. When we were trying to help households, you said no. When we wanted to revise the tax arrangements, you wanted to call an election over it. Remember that? We had your deputy leader in the other place saying that they wanted to go back to the drawing board. We had Senator Hume saying nothing's off the table. We remember when you said no to providing relief across Australian households, because we have looked at every way that we can provide responsible cost of living relief in a way that supports households but puts downward pressure on inflation, something the bank has also acknowledged.
Thank you, Minister.
With our energy rebates.